Hi, this is Robbie Krieger with The Doors from the Inside, and we're back in 1970.
Got a black magic woman. Got a black magic woman.
Jack Holzman, founder and in 1970 president of Elektra Records.
In 1970, U.S. troops in Vietnam moved illegally into Cambodia in what our government cynically referred to as an incursion. And students all across America protested. At Kent State University in Ohio, the National Guard opened fire and killed 4 of them.
10 soldiers and Nixon's coming. We're finally on our own. This summer I hear the drumming. 4 dead in Ohio.
After the Doors' performance in Miami the previous spring, Jim Morrison's alleged act of obscenity gave license to everyone who believed that their sense of morality should prevail, and the Miami concert became a convenient opportunity to try and disgrace a group whose music had raised real questions about a war that was dividing rather than uniting our country.
Come, you masters of war, you that build the big guns.
Richard Nixon was sending congratulations and support to a hastily conceived Miami decency rally, while Vietnam was bleeding America's human and financial treasury. Obviously in Miami, it was all right to take out your gun, but it was immoral to even seem like you were taking out your genitals, unless you were a stripper on Collins Avenue.
I'm a spy. I'm a spy in the house of love. I know the dream that you're dreaming of. I know the word that you long to hear.
Record producer Paul Rothschild explains Jim's galvanic effect on an audience.
Jim tried to direct entire audiences into the drama in his mind. He loved testing. He loved testing people one-on-one, groups of people, and ultimately large auditoriums full of people. But his talent was in creating dramatic situations with his voice and with his persona.
Frank Luciandro.
Did he expose himself or not? There was no pictures, there was no evidence.
Jim Morrison talked about the lack of real evidence.
They had thousands of photographs from many different people that were there, and there was no photograph of an exposure or anything near it.
Ray Manzarek.
If saying dirty words in public is a crime, then he was guilty of that crime, no doubt about that. He was not guilty of any of the other crimes. He did not incite a riot. It was not a breach of peace because it was a rock and roll concert.
The human race was dying out. No one left to scream and shout. People walking on the moon. Smog will get you pretty soon. Everyone was hanging out. Hanging up and hanging down. Hanging in and holding fast. Hope our little world will last. Along came Mr. Goodchips, looking for a new ship. But come on, people, better climb on board. But come on, baby, we're not going home. Ship of fools, ship of fools. The human race was dying out. No one left to scream and shout. People walking on the moon. Smoke gon' get you pretty soon. Ship of fools, ship of fools. Ship of fools, ship of fools. Ship of fools, ship of fools.
Meanwhile, Morrison, the Doors, their management, and all of us at Elektra Records caught the reactionary gale full force.
Road manager Vince Traynor.
Oh God, the Doors have struck again. The next day, the headlines started to hit the paper. Obscene and indecent exposure and drunk on stage. The cancellations started coming in and the whole tour went down. We were ostracized. We were polluted. We were the untouchables, contagious. The effect was that the media and public opinion shut us down.
They couldn't get a job. Their touring schedule was dramatically curtailed because promoters all over the country were canceling their shows as fast as the Doors can answer the telephone. There was a horrible 2 weeks where the bottom fell out.
The hypocrisy of the 1969 incident and the firestorm it created hit Jim and the band hard. Many radio stations banned the Doors from their playlists. Buick canceled their television commercial, which used Light My Fire. Promoters either decided not to ask the Doors to play their communities or demanded that expensive bonds be posted. Some promoters even tried to coax a bigger percentage of the profits into their own pockets. For 4 months, the Doors' business all but stopped. It was a time to pause and regroup.
Like a bird on a wire, like a drum in a midnight choir.
John Densmore remembers manager Bill Siddons fielding the cancellations.
Bill Siddons would say, "We lost $1 million of gigs." And I'm going like, good. For me, it was relief. I didn't tell anybody this. I was pretty sensitive, and there was a guy in the band who was destroying himself, and we were trying to turn the other cheek. And also, we couldn't give up this passionate music we loved creating together.
Jim comments.
It's just a political football. They let us sign up for a concert, and then about 2 days before we show up, the mayor or the sheriff or somebody, whoever wants to get his name in the paper, will try and cancel the show and get everybody all outraged, People like, parents that wouldn't even know who we were, all of a sudden they hear that Sheriff Peabody says they shouldn't be allowed to perform. I think we're the band you love to hate.
Bill Graham was the first person to book the Doors again in the United States, and he counseled them that if they did well, resistance to them would soften.
Keep your eyes on the road, you have to pound the wheel. Keep your eyes on the road, you have to pound the wheel. Yeah, we're going to the roadhouse, gonna have a real good time. Yeah, the back of the roadhouse, I got some bungalows. Yeah, the back of the roadhouse, I got some bungalows. And that's for the people who like to go down slow. Let it roll, baby, roll. Let it roll, baby, roll. Let it roll, baby, roll. Let it roll all night long. Do it, Ronnie, do it.
Ray Manzarek.
We decided at the time of Morrison Hotel to just go back to the basic Doors format. We'd more than exhausted the horns and strings. It was time to go back to basic Doors sound.
I said, good, we're going to have a half a year break. We can take our time in the studio. I thought, okay, let's go back a step.
Roll, roll, you gotta thrill my soul, alright. Roll, 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 I feel my soul. I gotta be paganta, chucha, honk, 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 I ganta, hey, shakuna, nature, bapalula, nicha, bampa, nicha, isam, kong, yeah, right. Ashen lady, ashen lady, give up your vows, give up your vows. Save our city,
This is Jack Holzman with The Doors, From the Inside.
Hiya, Bubby. You say the last used car you bought was a low-mileage car? It could never go more than 10 miles every 6 months. And the car was in repair so often, the mechanic dedicated a wing of his shop in your name. And somebody stole it from in front of your house, but then they returned it with a sympathy note. And it wasn't listed in the used car section. You found it in the obituaries. When you buy a used car from Avis, you know you're getting a late model, well-maintained, well-equipped used car. And best of all, at Avis Car Sales, you are buying from the owner. You say once you got it up to 60 miles an hour, that's when you shoved it off a cliff. Avis, we try harder to make it easier.
What do some morning television viewers do that you don't do? Or maybe you do, only you do differently. Do they watch CBS This Morning with Kathleen Sullivan and Harry Smith? If they do, then they may do better than you do when it comes to knowing what's doing. Do you know why? At CBS This Morning, we do what we have to do to give you a more in-depth view of what's new. Do our viewers know something you don't? Chances are they do. Watch CBS This Morning, weekdays on the CBS Television Network. You always know when it's CBS News.
'Cause I'm a woman, Marjorie.
What's this? Dinner by candlelight. Ooh, I thought you had a meeting and then you were going to pick up the kids.
The meeting went great and the kids are upstairs, asleep.
So what's for dinner?
Dinner can wait.
Anjali, the 8-hour perfume for your 24-hour woman.
I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan, and never, never, never let you forget you're a man. 'Cause I'm a woman, Anjali.
Hi, this is Ray Manzarek, and you'll be hearing The Doors from the Inside. Jack Holzman.
The Doors' original contract with Elektra Records was for a minimum of 3 years and 6 albums. Our 6th and final album under that existing agreement was coming due, and it was to be one of their best and most basic, Morrison Hotel. Ray Manzarek.
We looked upon Morrison Hotel as a blues album. I was taking a shortcut from downtown, trying to get through some traffic, rush hour, and I took the side street. There it is, Morrison Hotel, that big red and white Morrison Hotel in the window, and I thought, ooh, I found the perfect album cover. Inside the gatefold is a photo of the Doors in the Hard Rock Cafe, the original Hard Rock Cafe, just Skid Row Bums Bar. We went downtown and had a grand time with the bums.
Robbie Krieger on Waiting for the Sun.
That to me was a good Doors song. It's a big, heavy sound with lots of guitars, lots of keyboards, all playing the same lines, you know?
At first flash of Eden, we raced down to the sea. Standing there on freedom shore, waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun. is the strangest life I've ever known. Can't you feel it now that spring has come? That it's time to live in the scattered sun. Waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun, waiting for the sun. Waiting for the sun.
We had Lonnie Mack playing bass. He's a great guy who did Memphis. He had a job working at Electra Studio. He also played bass, so we used him on a couple of cuts. I always called him a bass player after that. And he said, I'm a guitar player, not a bass player.
Miss Maggie McGill, she lived on a hill. Her daddy got drunk and left her no will, so she went down to Tansy Town. People down there really like to get it on. Now if you're sad and you're feeling blue, go out and buy a brand new pair of shoes and you go down to Tansy Town. 'Cause people down there really like to get it on. Get it on. Hey. Illegitimate son of a rock and roll star. Illegitimate son of a rock and roll star. Mom met dad in the back of a rock and roll car. Yeah. Well, I'm
Kathy Luciandro was the Doors secretary, and she remembers that Jim took his business responsibilities seriously.
He would come into the office every day. This was a business and this was his job. He came in every day, had a desk right behind mine, sit at his desk, he made his telephone calls, he wrote letters. He would ask for certain things that needed to be done.
Club owner Bill Gazzari reveals that the unresolved Miami incident and impending trial worried Jim.
As the years drew on, we got pretty close. I think I gave him strength because he had seen me over the years fight every agency that was constantly harassing me in those days. He was constantly fearing the trial. He said that they were going to make an example of him, and that they beat him up in Florida.
Jim Morrison.
There'll probably be a big trial. I might even buy a suit to make a good impression on the judge and the jury. What kind of a suit? Kind of a conservative, dark blue suit. I'm not one of those paisley ties, but I like a big fat tie, you know, with a great big knot. Maybe I'll keep a diary of the whole thing and publish it in Esquires. And, you know, my impressions of my hanging. I told you we're the band you love to hate. It's been that way from the beginning. You know, we're universally despised. I kind of relish the whole situation.
Hi, this is Robbie Krieger, and you are listening to The Doors from the Inside.
For the taste that's so clean, so crisp, so refreshing. It's the king of beers. This bird are you. This bird are you. Honor is a boost to lowest Missouri.
This is Jack Holzman with The Doors from the Inside. The reverberations of Miami created tensions within the group and a schism between Jim and the others.
Bill Siddons.
After the Miami incident, what did change was the dynamic within the group. All of a sudden, Jim was a target. All of a sudden, Jim was the reason we couldn't work. Jim was really vulnerable.
Jim Morrison.
It's that old thing, like a first novel. You know, they usually give the cat a break, you know, and everybody kind of pats him on the back. And then the second one, they really chop him up. Then if he does a few more, you know, and shows he has staying power, they say, well, welcome back to the fold. The human family embraces you. And I think it'd be the same way with us. We just have to hold out for a little while, and everyone one day will realize they're just like old friends. They've been around for years now, and, you know, they're part of our national psyche. I guess we'll just accept them.
I found my own true love was on a blue Sunday. She looked at me and told me I was the only one in the world. Now I have found my girl. My girl awaits for me in tender time. My girl is mine. She is the world. She is my girl. My girl awaits for me in tender time. My girl is mine. She is the world. She is my girl.
Jim Morrison.
I could write an American folk song, something that would appeal to everyone. And everyone would say, gee, what a great guy. I put a lot of American eagles in it, and sagebrush, timber, boulders, rivers, mountains, prairies.
Dead blood in the streets, it's up to my ankles. Sheet blood in the streets, it's up to my knees. Sheet blood in the streets, the town of Chicago. Sheet blood on the rise, it's following me. She's about to break again. She came in and she drove away. Sunlight in her hair. She blood in the streets on the river of sadness. She blood in the streets, it's up to my thigh. Yeah, the river runs red down the legs of the city. No women in the crying when rivers are weeping. She came in town and then she drove away. Sunlight in her hair. Indians scattered on dawn's highway bleeding. Ghosts crowd the young child's fragile eggshell mind. Blood in the streets in the town of New Haven. Blood stains the roofs and the palm trees of Venice. Blood in my love in the terrible summer. Bloody red sun of fantastic LA. Blood screams the brain to chop off the fingers. Blood will be born in the birth of a nation. Blood is the rose of mysterious union. Dead blood in the streets, it's up to my ankles. Blood in the streets, it's up to my knee. Blood in the streets, the town of Chicago. Blood on the rise is following me.
Jim began to question his public image. Early photos he had posed for, which portrayed him as the dynamic young lion, continued to plague him, and he sensed the distance between who he really was and his public persona.
Diane Gardner.
That's a shiny piece of glass, isn't it? To be a sex symbol? Wow. Maybe that was attractive at first. I can surely say that that certainly was not his intention later on, in that he seemed intent on destroying that.
Writer Eve Babbitts.
All the women around him, like, we loved it when his hair was long and he looked so great and fabulous. But of course it only lasted like 3 days before he started eating pancakes again. Because those cheekbones just didn't stay out there.
Jim Morrison.
I don't know, I must have been out of my mind. If I had the whole thing to do over again, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. I thought I knew what I was doing. The horrible thing about a photograph is once it's done, you can't destroy it. It's there forever. It's like, you imagine when I'm 80 years old and I have to look at myself, posing for these pictures and everything. It's too late.
Jim began to shed his rock star image, grew a beard, and he gained weight.
You just didn't want to see him well fed. The thing that, everybody liked about him was he was like so incredibly famished and ravaged and everything.
What's wrong with being fat? That's what I want to know. Why is it so onerous to be fat? I don't see anything wrong with fat. I mean, I remember when I used to weigh 185 pounds. I felt like a tank.
No one did any exercise, you know. No one ever went outside or did anything. Jim tried to play basketball, but you know, it's hard when you've got terrible hangovers.
I felt like a large mammal, a big beast. When I moved through the corridors or across the lawn, I just feel like I could knock anybody out of my way, you know? I was solid, man. It's terrible to be thin and wispy because you could get knocked over by a strong wind or something. Fat is beautiful.
Jim's dear friend and neighbor, Diane Gardner.
The decline in him was amazing. He would simply sit in a corner of my apartment and just watch people, and he was a changed person. He'd gained a lot of weight, and he was not comfortable in his skin anymore.
This is Jack Holzman. More of The Doors from the Inside in just a moment.
Avis believes you should be able to celebrate any holiday you want. Anyone can help you celebrate Christmas, New Year's, 4th of July, Thanksgiving. But how many people will help you to commemorate the groundbreaking for the Panama Canal? Alexander Graham Bell getting his first busy signal. Anyone can celebrate Lincoln's birthday, but what about the day he got his law degree? They're all holidays worth celebrating, and Avis will help. We've got great special rates on well-equipped, clean, low-mileage cars for all your famous, well-established everyday holidays. But we've also got them for many of those special-to-you holidays, like the laying of the last brick in the Great Wall of China, the day 2 Austrian peasants, one tall, one short, made history when they climbed 4 steep flights of narrow, twisting stairs to deliver Mozart's first piano. We'll always try harder to give you a rate to celebrate. Avis, we try harder to make it easier.
This is Jack Holzman with The Doors from the Inside. Jim appeared to be both freed and trapped by the events that took place in Miami.
Paul Rothchild.
I think Miami freed him in a way. In the old theatrical sense, that moment was the denouement for the entire Doors, for Jim's persona as a rock star. He broke the mold at that moment.
I want to tell you about Texas radio and the Big Beat. Comes out of the Virginia swamps, cool and slow with money and precision. The backbeat narrow and hard to master. Some call it heavenly in its brilliance, others mean and rueful of the Western dream. I love the friends I have gathered together in this thin raft. We have constructed pyramids in honor of our escaping. This is the land where the Pharaoh died. The Negroes in the forest, brightly feathered, they are saying, forget the night, live with us in forests of azure. Out here in the perimeter there are no stars. Out here is stone, immaculate. Now listen to this, I'll tell you about the heartache. I'll tell you about the heartache and the loss of God. I'll tell you about the hopeless night, the meager food for souls forgot. I'll tell you about the maiden with wrought iron soul. I'll tell you this, no eternal reward will forgive us now for wasting the dawn. I'll tell you about Texas radio and a big beat. Soft driven, slow and mad like some new language. Now listen to this, I'll tell you about Texas. I'll tell you about Texas radio. I'll tell you about the hopeless night, wander in the western dream. Tell you about the maiden with wrought iron soul.
Jim was intensely upset with how the press sensationally covered his trial, with no attention paid to the principles of free expression being contested. Ray Manzarek.
The whole incident in Miami hurt him very deeply. Lizard King exposes himself. Well, man, this guy was trying to create a Dionysian frenzy for 12,000 people, the same way they used to do in ancient Greece. That's what he was after. And the fact that the Rolling Stone didn't pick up on it that really hurt Jim. That really hurt.
Well, I've been down so goddamn long that it looks like up to me. Well, I've been down so very damn long that it looks like up to me. Yeah, why don't one you people come on and set me free? I said, Warden, 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 won't you break the lock and key? I said, Warden, 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 won't you break your lock and key? Yeah, come along here, mister. Come on, let the poor boy be.
Door's secretary, Kathy Lisiandro, attended the trial.
You sit there in the courtroom and you're realizing the control that the judge has over what was presented, how he was directing the course of events in a very negative way. And that was a very frightening thing, and Jim saw that, and I think that really frightened him when he realized that he wasn't getting justice. There really was no such thing as justice for him at that point.
There was a man whose bias was so apparent during the trial that the people in the audience used to groan when he would make a decision.
Frank Luciandro, Kathy's husband, was a fellow student of Jim and Ray's at UCLA Film School. And when the Doors formed their own film company, Frank was the backup cameraman and edited all the footage.
Get down on your knees. Baby, 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 oh, won't you get down on your knees? Come on, little darling. Come on, I'll give your love to me. Oh, yeah.
Jim is not the kind of person who complained about he complained about nothing. He must have felt that he wasn't getting a fair trial.
Max Fink, Jim's personal counsel, defended him on the Miami obscenity charges.
Hare was playing in the principal theater, which, my goodness, was 10 times more lewd and lascivious than anything that could have happened with Jim. But because he got so much press, he was a good target.
Well, I'm the crawling king snake, and I rule my den. I'm the crawling king snake, and I rule my den. You don't mess around with my mate, gonna use her for myself. Crawling maybe window, grass is very high. Keep on crawling till the day I die. Crawling king snake, and I rule my den. You better give me what I want. Wanna crawl no more.
I think Jim really was fighting for that sense of the artist's personal freedom to be able to make a statement. He never won. He did talk a little bit about the troubles he was in. I mean, if you were faced with going to Rayford Prison, you're going to think twice about your fate, and we did discuss it. You know, what would happen if a guilty verdict came down? I think he was a little worried about it, but he never complained about it.
Crawling, baby, crawling round your door. See anything I want, I'm gonna crawl on your floor. Let's crawl in the room of death. Come on, give me what I want. Ain't gonna crawl no more. I've crawled a while.
At the end of the trial, he said, man, what can I do? I'm just a poet. We're not politicians. We're not messiahs. We're a rock and roll band just trying to be part of the solution to the problem.
Had Jim lived, he would have rejoiced that the statute on which he was originally convicted was later found to be unconstitutional. On appeal, his specific case would have been thrown out, and Jim would have savored with a special joy this bit of irony. The judge who tried him was himself disgraced just a few years later for taking a bribe.
In 1971, when the Doors were recording L.A. Woman, none of this was resolved. They were continually being hassled and subpoenaed, and still, it was their most creative period.
This is The Doors from the Inside, and we'll be back with our final hour.
What do some morning television viewers do that you don't do? Or maybe you do, only you do differently. Do they watch CBS This Morning with Kathleen Sullivan and Harry Smith? If they do, then they may do better than you do when it comes to knowing what's doing. Do you know why? At CBS This Morning, we do what we have to do to give you a more in-depth view of what's new. Do our viewers know something you don't? Chances are they do. Watch CBS This Morning, weekdays on the CBS Television Network. You always know when it's CBS News.
I needed money for college, and I found it as a military policeman in the Army Reserve.
I know I'm gonna make it, no matter what it takes.
Join a nearby Army Reserve unit, and if you qualify for the GI Bill, that and your pay over a standard enlistment can add up to over $18,000.
Be all that you can be in the Army Reserve.
Learn more. Call 1-800